remarking how beautiful it was, the splendor of its stonework and memorial gifts. Jesus said, "All this you're admiring so much. The time is coming when every stone in that building will end up in a heap of rubble." They asked him, "Teacher, when is this going to happen? What clue will we get that it's about to take place?" Jesus said, "Watch out for the doomsday deceivers. Many leaders are going to show up with forged identities claiming, 'I'm the one,' or 'the end is near.' Don't fall for any of that. When you hear of wars and uprisings, keep your head and don't panic. This is routine history and no sign of the end." He went on, "Nation will fight nation and ruler fight ruler over and over. Huge earthquakes will occur in various places. There will be famines. You'll think at times the very sky is falling. But before any of this happens, they'll arrest you, hunt you down, and drag you to court and jail. It'll go from bad to worse, dog eat dog, everyone at your throat, because you carry my name. You'll end up on the witness stand, called to testify. Make up your mind right now not to worry about it. I'll give you the words and wisdom that will reduce all your accusers to stammers and stutters. You'll even be turned in by parents, brothers, relatives, and friends. Some of you will be killed. There's no telling who will hate you because of me. Even so, every detail of your body and soul, even the hairs on your head, is in my care. Nothing of you will be lost. Staying with it, that's what is required. Stay with it to the end. You won't be sorry. You'll be saved." This is the gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. Please be seated. Grace and peace to you on this day from God our Father and our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Amen. Just as a little bit of a setup, you should know I didn't pick this gospel reading. It's part of our 3-year cycle that we go through with the rest of the church. But I did pick this translation, and I picked it for this verse. You'll think at times that the very sky is falling. Is it? So something happened a couple of weeks ago. It was October 31st. And I don't mean that millions of youngsters across our country got bags full of candy. A worship service took place in Sweden at the cathedral with the Lutherans and the Catholics together, presided over by Pope Francis and the president of the Lutheran World Federation, who also happens to be the bishop in the Holy Land, Manib Yunan. Prayers were offered for forgiveness and reconciliation. Peace and unity was preached from the pulpit by both men and from others. Songs of praise to God were given by all. And even though some differences remain and probably will well into the future, the argument was made that we've got much more in common together as sisters and brothers in Christ than what separates us. And the sky did not fall. In fact, the very next morning, the sun came up. The dawn of a brand new day. On November 3rd, the impossible happened. Well, at least what was not possible for well over a century. The Cubs won the World Series. Now, I'm a White Sox fan, so that doesn't affect me at all. I would have been happy if the Cleveland Indians would have won as well. But for Chicago, it was great. A lot of people I know, friends, family members, love it. I think it's great. I have this little card that I've kept in my desk for years, and it has this saying beneath it. It says, "Winners never quit. Quitters never win. But those who never win and never quit are idiots." There's something to be said for the faith of those Cubs fans hanging in there for all this time. Hell did not freeze over, pigs did not fly, the apocalypse was not upon us, the sky did not fall. And the next morning, the sun came up. Now, we had an election this week. You may have heard about it. People cast their votes. They were collected. They were added. A winner was declared. The sky did not fall. I think one thing we can be for certain about is, couldn't all of us agree that it's good that it's over? I mean, I don't do scientific polling, and I think we learned that that doesn't really count either this week. But, I bet half of us voted one way and half of us voted the other way, probably. I mean, I don't know, but I'm guessing that's probably true. Some people are really happy. Some people are really depressed. But can't all of us be happy that we did it? We had an election. We had a free, open election. There was an acceptance speech given. There was a concession speech given. The president offered the president-elect some hospitality. Come and let's talk about how this transition might take place. And no armies were raised. We do this peacefully in this country. It is amazing. Most countries don't do this. We should celebrate that. Give thanks. And I think something we can all do together before we do anything else is, can we all just take a collective deep breath? I mean, everybody, just take a nice big inhale and fill your lungs with some oxygen. And exhale. Wednesday morning when I woke up, we had breakfast club and it was my turn to cook, so I came extra early. I got up, I got ready, I checked the results because they weren't there when I went to bed. I got my stuff, I got in the car, and I stopped at the road which is right adjacent to ours because they have a nice little, it's a U-shaped road like this, so you can get right down by the sound. And the sunrise was spectacular. The colors, amazing. The sun came up in the morning. A beautiful new day that God had given us. I think it's time for all of us, collectively, as we take that deep breath and look around at each other, to say, just because our friends or our neighbors or family members or even the person sitting next to you may have voted differently than you, that does not make them your enemy. Just because we have people on different sides of the aisle politically doesn't mean that's weakness. It's a beautiful thing in this country that we can vote and express our views and hold our leaders to task and have another election if it doesn't go the way we think it should. We can join together. What a beautiful thing that could be. Before we do that, though, I think we also just need to acknowledge the division that has happened over these past weeks and months and even years, to own some of that for ourselves and the way we've participated in it. And to say, we live in a world much bigger than that. I think it's also worth acknowledging that there are some, and I say some, that have taken it the wrong way and want more division. And there are some that have taken some of the rhetoric too far and have acted out in mean-spirited and awful ways. And there are a number of people that are genuinely scared for their lives. And we need to acknowledge that as well. But I think we can also say, well, what are we going to do together now? I saw, and you probably have seen it too, some of the images that have been around of things that have happened since the election. There was one brown wall that was in this town. I don't remember where it was, but someone had spray painted on it, Black lives don't matter and neither does your vote. But the news story that was told after it was these two guys, two white men, with buckets of water, soap, scrub brushes, and elbow grease. And they were cleaning it. And they were interviewed. And they were not asked who they voted for. They were not asked if they knew anybody. They just said, you know what? We're better than this. This is not who we are. We're not going to let this stand. And they just got back to work. Beautiful. I saw this thing that somebody posted on Twitter, what to do if you see a swastika, and it was clever. She had connected all the lines, so it was a square box of 4 boxes like this, and then she had made the little tail on it, and she said, just create the Microsoft logo. And then underneath it she put Windows 95 forever. Good way to disarm it. I have a friend, he saw somebody online that he knows in town post something against Muslims in general, and he took a while to think about what he was going to say, but he responded and said, you know, there are some good Muslims in this country that are hardworking people. I know some of them. They're horrible dancers. They pick great wine to go with their food. They're just like us, so back off. I thought, okay, pretty good. We had an incident here, actually, on Thursday. I just learned about it yesterday, one of our homework club kids in the back room was talking with another one of the kids, and the mentors were just kind of listening in, and it came up that she thought that people who spoke Spanish were going to be killed. And the mentors, thank God for them, they surrounded us and said, no, that is not what we're about at all. That's not who we are. And if you feel threatened, or if you see people that you think are threatened, you need to go to your teachers, or to one of us, or your parents. I mean, this is a safe place for you. I think in these days and weeks and years to come, this is our calling. We are people that know the truth, that the sun comes up in the morning. And we need to be with the people whose lives feel like the sky is still falling, and walk with them. Jesus was with these fine folks looking at the temple. The temple was this huge, magnificent building. It had actually been recently renovated by King Herod. It was grand. It was one of the wonders of the world. It had this kind of eternal quality to it that you wouldn't think it would ever pass away. And it was built as a symbol to say that no matter what happens, God is present here. And Jesus says, soon it will be laid to waste. And when Luke wrote this story down, years later, it already had. The Romans had come in and crushed a rebellion, and the temple was a heap of rubble, just as Jesus said. But it's what he says after that matters most. That God is still with you, no matter what. Especially when times are tough. Especially when division is rampant. Especially when it seems like peace is the farthest thing from possibility. Know that there is exactly where God meets you. Our calling is to meet others and each other in the same place that Jesus meets each and every one of us. At the cross. At a place of suffering and a place of death. Knowing the promise that 3 days later, the sun came up. And on this day, and on every day, the sun keeps coming up. God bless us all. Amen.